Well, welcome everyone. We are so glad you're here. This is Live Lessons. We are broadcasting from legendary Gruen Guitars here in Nashville, Tennessee, one of the best guitar stores on the planet. It is great to have you here. I'm Steve Krenz. I'll be your host, your guide, your captain tonight as we get started. And we're so excited to have with us the great Phil Brown. So good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is going to be a treat. This is going to be one of the great ones. Hey, if you haven't joined us, you need to log in at ustream.tv, and that way you can participate in the chat that's going on. And if you're already in the chat, we already have, 120-ish somehow, and another 50 or 60 or so. Go ahead and type in where you're from. This is always fun for me to see where everybody's from. I see Lisbon, Portugal. Staten Island, New York, Bakersfield, California, Indiana, Bronx, New York. Welcome, Phil, I see. Denver, Colorado. Oh, here they all come. Marietta, Georgia. I'm going to be down in Georgia just this coming weekend in Mableton, Georgia, working with some musicians down there. North Carolina, Sanderson, Texas, my home state. Minneapolis, Minnesota. California, look at all you crazy nuts. Here, oh, I see UK, Bradford, UK. It's got to be 2 in the morning there. All right, glad you're here. It's going to be a great night. We're going to be giving away all kinds of things. If you want to be a part of the giveaways, and who wouldn't want to be a part of the giveaways, you need to be logged in at ustream.tv. We'll see your name in the chat, and then we'll pick some, and we'll go from there. All right, and as you have questions, go ahead and type them in, and our producer Garrett will put them up, and we'll see them, and we'll try to get to as many of them as we can. But enough of me yapping. Let's go ahead and play something. What are you going to play for us, Phil?
This is a tune by Paul Rodgers and Free. It's called The Stealer. It was a big hit back in the 70s. We'll see what happens here.
Fantastic.
I went down to the center of the town, and my lonely feet were bounding up the ground. Yeah. I'm going down that corner where the music's loud. I'm tired of that city, gonna get right out of town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a stealer, gonna steal your love, love, gonna steal your love away, yeah. Oh, the sun was shining, the moon was so bright. Tell you what, you're so good looking, I'd like to run away with you tonight. I'm going down that corner where the music's loud. I'm tired of that city, gonna get right out of town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm the stealer, gonna steal your love, love, gonna steal your love. I'd like to run away with you tonight. Going down that corner where the music's loud. I'm tired of that city. Gonna get right out of town. Ooh, babe, you know it's true. I'm gonna steal your love. I'm going down that corner where the music's loud. I'm tired of that city. Gonna get right out of town. Yeah, I'm the stealer. Gonna steal your love. Sorry. Come on now.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
Fantastic. How did you get started playing?
I was originally a violin player.
Really?
I studied classically till I was 13, 6 to 13.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a guitar from a neighbor, acoustic guitar. I was probably 7. And I mowed 5 lawns at 10 cents a piece. It dates me. But it cost 50 cents. And I could only play these 2 strings. That's all I knew how, and I learned a lot of folk songs. My parents had.
Where did you grow up?
Los Alamos, New Mexico.
Los Alamos, New Mexico. We've got our good relatives are in White Rock.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Wow. And work at the lab at Los Alamos.
Right.
Yes, Los Alamos, New Mexico. Beautiful out there.
It was a real big deal. There was, my dad worked at the lab, and we traveled around for about 7 years before we arrived there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my home until I was around 15 or 16.
Now, did you have formal guitar lessons in your past?
I studied with a guy named Joe Mariner, and Joe Mariner was a friend of Chet Atkins.
Really?
Yeah.
How old are you at this time?
I was probably 10 or 11. And at the time, Bo Diddley had a huge hit with that. I wanted to learn how to play that. Instead, they had... and I didn't want to learn that.
Yes,
I
yes.
was good for a couple lessons. But I'm also trained on saxophone and tuba.
Really?
Yeah.
Play much tuba lately?
Not today.
What are you playing on today?
Today, this is sort of a hybrid guitar.
Yeah, I was thinking it's got a few bells and whistles on it that aren't normal for a Strat.
This is kind of a baseball neck, Fender neck, Clousons. The body's a Jimmy Vaughn Strat body, so it's a little bigger than a normal body. And the assembly here is from Jason Lawler, builds pickups. And what these are Phil Brown specials, and they sort of have an extra thing on it. You can find out about him. He's everyone from Keith Richards to Eric Clapton uses his pickups. I recorded a record called the Jimi Project with some Hendrix songs.
Beautiful stuff.
Thank you. And so we have these 2 Strat pickups here, and then I have a humbucker here, but normal humbuckers are really loud. They have what they call a Q, starting around 8.3 to 10.11, sometimes louder. This is 5.6. It's tapped. So I have a single coil here, can be doubled here, a kill switch, and then this is a blender. I can actually blend this pickup with this pickup. It's not blended now. Adds more bass to it.
Yeah.
And then it blends on itself.
And then explain the kill switch for those of us who might not be familiar with this.
Pete Townsend, when he played My Generation.
So it just mutes the sound. You're
Cuts
just
the sound
popping it
out.
in and out.
Really simple to do. And this is a Trevor Wilkinson tremolo. It's got 3 springs on it. And I have it set so I can, if this is... It stays in tune.
Yeah. Wow, it does stay in tune.
Yeah.
And so you can go up on it and you can go down with it. Quite a bit down.
Quite a bit. You got to mess with it a little bit. All tremolos are not the same.
Yeah.
But this is a first guitar I've had in a really long time where a guy built pickups for me. Thank you, Jason. So you want to go to lawlerguitars.com if you're interested. He makes
Yeah.
the best pickups in the world for me.
Fabian, if you can find that link for us, that would be great. Fabian is our moderator, and so Fabian, grab that link if you can find it. And then what else are you running through effect-wise down here?
Well, I have an M13. Oh, first I talk about, I have these cables. They're called Asterope Cables.
Asterope
and
cables.
I've used lots of other people's cables through the years, but this cable actually reinserts about 40% of the sound that's lost. Now, that's just my estimation. I met Darish in Austin a few years ago, and he said, try these out. And I used another cable, and I went, I want these. So they got me hooked up with extensions to everything. And you want to have a consistent sound.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of your sound playing electrically anyway, just
Yeah.
leaks. But for some reason, they figured out a technology that works, made me happy. I have an M13, which is line 6. I endorse them, and this has a lot of different programs. I'll just go through a few of them.
Yeah. Kind of run
Vibrato,
it through
and
its
I can
paces
control
a
it.
little bit.
Then I have an echo that repeats that I can time. This here. Cut this off so you can hear me. Big reverbs. Shut it off. This won't be loud. Octavia. Enough of this. Let's say that I'm messing around. I wanted to play.
Oh, okay.
One of the vibrato, echo, like a CS1. This is more rockabilly. Wah-wah. I just changed everything. I'm back. So I have all these pedals set up, different sounds. Amen. I don't know how that happened, but it did. There we go. Then I play through a POG.
And what is the POG given for you? Just those
Actually,
octaves?
it makes octaves, but also makes an incredible 12-string sound. And then you can actually add 12-string with it.
Very cool.
I normally keep it low. And then one of the big secrets for me, about this, there's a company called Rocket Pedals, and they made a pedal for me. It's called Phil Brown Lead Boots, sort of a nod to Jeff Beck. And there's an alien echo, and it basically has two sections. It has a top. This is, and with a boost, and with overdrive. Since I don't play with my guitar on 10, I tend to have everything else overdriven. Because when you play on 10, your guitar compresses.
Yeah.
You don't get all the sound you need. And then I have a line 6. I'll go through a couple of these. Reverse. So that's about it.
A pretty wide variety of sounds. We will talk more about that rocket pedal, lead boost pedal coming up, because that's one of the things that we're going to be giving away at the end of the show. Just one of you lucky folks that are logged in there. Tell us about your amazing career. You've played with Little Feat. How did that come about?
That was an accident, happy accident. I had been a fan of Little Feat, had known about them in the late 60s. I was in Los Angeles. And years later, Lowell had passed, and
Right.
I was
This
friends
is 1981.
about the 80s. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd known them since the late 70s, and we were all pretty good friends. Richie Hayward and I had known each other for a lot of years, and they were looking for a guitarist, and they wanted to find someone that could sing, and I could sing. So I remember going to the audition, and there was maybe 30 or 40 guys, all great players, and they said, "Show us something." So I showed them a tune and sang it, and they said, "You guys, we got our guitar player."
Really?
So I learned half of. We did. We weren't really called Little Feat. We were called in Pico de Oro, the Streets of Gold.
Oh, yeah.
So it was 4 of the members. It was Richie and Sam Clayton, Paul Barrere, and Kenny Gradney. So we did half of Little Feat songs and half of my songs. So much fun. I still freak out. I'm just really lucky. to be
And
able to do
how
that.
many years did you do that?
Well, we had a lot of substance abuse problems going on. So we lasted about 6 months together before it imploded. I ended up getting a job as a writer at Warner Brothers
Right.
in 1983, and I wrote a bunch of songs for a lot of people. A lot of girls cut my songs.
Cher and Pat Benatar.
Dora Pesch,
Yeah.
Bonnie Tyler, Fiona, Lisa Hartman, a lot of hair bands too.
Yeah.
Kicks, Ace Frehley. Anyway, I just knew how to write songs.
Yeah.
And soon after, I spent about 3 years with Warner Brothers, and then within a few weeks of leaving Warner Brothers, they didn't renew my contract. I got another contract offer from A&M.
Yeah.
Normally, there's a 2 to 3, 4-year wait before you get a publishing deal, but for some reason, they liked me. So I did that, and then I got an offer to go to Germany and make a record with Jack Bruce's band. So I did. I met a guy named Mark Nassif. He was a drummer with a band called Thin Lizzy. Huge band, and I remember being in Los Alamos. The phone rang one night. "This is Mark Nassif. I play with Jack Bruce, and I'm calling you from Paris." And I went, right. Hung up the phone. He called me back. He said, "I'm going to be in Los Angeles. Let's get together." So we did.
Yeah.
And I had made one record when I was 17 called Smack. And recently just found out about 2 years ago, a company in Bulgaria or Czechoslovakia, they have a psychedelic label, and they called me and said, "We found a record. Are you the guitar player, Phil Brown, that played bass?" And I'd gone to school in Lawrence, Kansas, at University of Kansas. This is 1968, 67, 68. And we made a record that it's probably the most famous garage band record of all time. If you could find a real record, they go for around 30 grand. And we did cover songs, so there were 4 of us. Had a lot of fun. And I kept writing songs. And to catch up more, after Little Feat, I spent a couple of years in Europe, came back here, and started putting my own music together for a record.
Yeah.
And I guess we're going to give a couple of them away.
We are here in a little bit. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in for us, and we will try to get to as many of those as we can. Let's talk a little bit about your technique. You do a lot of it's almost a chicken picking style, but without the country flair, and you're using a lot of slap back and pop off the neck. Talk us through a little bit about that.
I used to pick for a lot of years. And then I was in Paris, and a famous entertainer named Johnny Halliday is a huge rock star. Sort of like put Elvis and Frank Sinatra together. He could sell out their studio or their stadium for soccer 8 days in a row. And there's 88,000 people that fit in there. It was completely sold out. And I met his guitar player. And he said, "How long have you been playing without a pick?" And I said, I could have a lot of money in my pocket and not have a guitar pick, and I felt broke. And then the other thing was I noticed Joe Pass, Jeff Beck, Chet Atkins, all these incredible guitar players didn't play with a pick, and I thought, why don't you do that?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like I grab at it, you know. I have looks like I'm holding a pick, but I'm actually slamming my forefinger on it.
So, and your first finger is working the whammy bar. as you're trying, or at least
Actually,
stabilizing
It
it.
seems like it is, but it's not. I have it resting here in the palm of my hand.
Okay.
And I have it set so I can pull up. This is G.
So
I
you
can
go
pull
minor.
up a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And then and I just learned how to play that way because I liked the way I felt. I could do something that, I was an English influenced guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Jeff Beck, of course,
Yeah,
and Eric Clapton, and I loved Jimmy Page, but I freaked out when I heard Peter Green from Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Big Hendrix fan.
Yeah.
And I just loved the songwriting, and I just wanted to be authentic. And I thought, if you're playing, you should do something because you love it.
Yeah.
Just because you love it. That, believe me, that's a reward in itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us about some. Let's get to a question here. Jello Man is asking, why don't you cut your strings? You probably just change your strings.
I don't cut them because listen what happens. I'll be quiet. Hear all that? Makes ambient sounds. So when I play, I have all that going on. Extra dimension sound. For me, it creates this ambient. And sometimes I'll play them. I just love the sound and I think it looks sexy.
Gretsch Guy is asking, Steve, did he sing the lead in the Little Feat song Dixie Chicken?
No, that was Lowell.
That was Lowell. Let's see. And Gretsch Guy said he used to listen to that song all the time.
Yeah.
Tell us about. Let's get into songwriting because I wanted to touch base and talk about that a bit before we get off into other things. Songwriting. Did anyone teach you that? Did you just kind of come up with it? What are some of the things you're thinking as you're coming up with a song? Do you come up with the words first, the melody?
For me, everything happens all at the same time. I get the lyric, the melody, the music, everything happens all at once. And here's a story. Cher cut one of my songs, and she heard this. It was a riff. Stuck in L.A., ain't got no friends, except some Hollywood nuts and too many dead ends. Life on the streets is nowhere to live. Do I pack my bags up and split? Now what I'm doing, you hear this?
Yeah.
Almost like a piano player, because I don't look at music vertically or horizontally. I see it from way back there at the goalposts. How can you get the depth? When the day goes to sleep and the full moon looks, and the night is so black that the darkness cooks, you come creeping around here, making me see things I don't want to see. That's a Peter Green song. And here's a guy, because the real thing about songwriting is you've got to listen to the blues. The reason I got involved with songwriting is these guys were 60 and 70 years old who had lived these incredible lives. So when you heard, "A gypsy woman told my mama on the day I was born, you're gonna have a poor child coming, it's gonna be a son of a gun." I got to do all this stuff because of what they wrote.
Yeah.
Because Hendrix is really the first. It's a true Hendrix story. I'm 15, and I don't know if any of you know this, but Are You Experienced came out 47 years ago. And there was a bunch of stuff on Facebook about it, and I related a story. I was 15, had gone out to the car, and we had an old Mercury station wagon. And as soon as I heard, all I heard when I turned on the radio was, "Excuse me while I kiss the sky." Now, most people play Jimi Hendrix like, I don't do it. I wanted to do something different. So I thought I think I'll use some of my classical blues influence. Purple haze all in my brain. Lately things just don't seem the same. Acting funny, but I don't know why. Excuse me, baby, while I kiss the sky. Anyway, that song totally changed me, and he was the first black guy that took me past being white. I just thought he was so authentic. I mean, no one ever heard anything like that.
No.
And that is at a time when radio, you could hear Emerson, Lake and Palmer, you could hear the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Simon and Garfunkel, the Byrds, Jeff Beck and the Yardbirds. Jeff hadn't left the band yet. Early Led Zeppelin stuff, Cream. A friend of mine told me he heard the first Cream record and the Hendrix record in the same day. And music was so important to us at that time because it really defined and gave you a definition about who you were as a person.
Yeah.
And everyone from James Brown to Miles Davis. I mean, I just loved anyone that was good.
Yeah.
So songwriting happened as an accident. I didn't intend to be that, but I remember being in tons of cover bands, and a lot of the songs were just not very good. Well, I can do that.
Yes.
So I had some people show me how to do stuff. And one of them said, you got to learn the rules or break the rules. So if you're writing a song, it ought to be something that's important to you.
Yeah.
It should be important. When you heard Wild Thing, you make my heart sing. I'm going fast to show you that music has a story. Everything, even if you played. I do that because the springs need to be spanked every now and then. Go listen to a lot of blues. Go listen to music from the 40s and 50s when they had Sammy Kahn, and you would hear changes like Burt Bacharach, for instance. The look of love is in your eyes. A look, a smile can't disguise.
Beautiful.
They would find a melody and having a great lyric because you're trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
Really between here and here.
Yeah.
It seems that 18 inches is probably the longest road you're ever going to be on between your head and your heart, and you want to get that straightened out. And there's no such thing as a bad song.
Yes.
I think the only thing that comes bad is if you decide you don't want to live your dream. And you should practice living your dream. That's what you're here for.
So many questions are coming up. B. Fitzpatrick, 24, is asking, do different effects make you want to write different songs?
That's true. They do.
Yeah.
I wrote a song for Pat Benatar that had this riff. It was a pretty, well, I can't find it. Let me see if this is. Here we go again, life and gone again, till we lose control. I'll go to the chorus. I can't stand to say goodbye, though I've tried a million times. The more I learn, the less I know about the art of letting go. So yes, effects make changes.
Yeah.
When you heard, let's see if I can find this. I don't think I have it here. I would have a wah-wah song, but you heard when you heard Voodoo Child.
Yeah.
So I thought, what could I do to make that different for me? Because trying to copy other people's songs is really good when you're learning. But you're in a band. Why don't you make it a little different?
Yeah.
I came up. Well, I'm standing next to a mountain, chopping down with the edge of my hand. It's important to recognize this. You're never going to play like your hero. You don't have to. All these guys started somewhere. And you've probably heard this saying, success leaves clues. It's never a big sign. Here, Phil, come over here. It's usually in the Bible they call it that still, quiet voice, yelling in the desert. It's over here. Ought to have a good backbeat.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid growing up, I wanted to write songs, but there are certain rules. You have an intro, of course. and you have a verse and usually a pre-chorus and a chorus. And you'll notice a lot of the songs have these kind of chords in them. Those are doo-wop chords. Doob, dooby, doob, dooby, doob.
We were just talking about that on the last live lesson. We were talking about those.
In my opinion,
Yeah.
they've been overdone.
Of course.
And you need some new.
Yes, definitely.
You need some new chords, and so you can take chances.
Yeah.
It's important to do that. Remember that movie that Mozart was in, and Salieri was always trying to beat him up, and Salieri comes to, "What do you think of this piece of music I wrote?" Mozart said, "Too many notes."
Yeah.
And right away he'd start
Yeah.
trying to change it. So I think you have to follow your heart, use your mind. I think everybody knows how to write a song, some level or another. And some of the greatest things, you can find talent in the record business. It's not very talented, but they have a great song and they give it meaning.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from anyone. I'm just saying what I see. So doo-wop chords are important, but they're not necessary to have all the time. And so many records have the same songs, one after another. Here's a song we're going to do. And here's another song we're going to do. And here's another song we're going to. Everything's in the same key.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
What tuning to play for these sounds?
Yep.
Up to you.
HB Phil, what tuning to play for these sounds? You're in standard tuning, right?
I'm standard tuning.
Yep,
Yeah.
standard tuning right there. Gretschkai, what does advice Phil has for beginning struggling guitarists?
Oh, I
as
have
they're
one.
struggling-
Go pick up any record, any blues record by a famous black blues guy, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, John Lee Hooker,
Yeah.
Willie Dixon.
Lightning
You got to
Hopkins,
learn
all
where
those
this stuff
guys.
comes from,
Yeah.
because that's the blues are really the story of our life. Without the blues, we don't have great music.
Definitely. Let's see, Chitara 777. What encouraged you to keep going besides the burning desire inside?
Oh gosh,
Man, you guys are asking philosophical questions
like
today.
this. That's
I thought we
good.
were going to be talking about gear and chords, and you guys are getting deep on me here.
what encourages me to go on is that I'm really hungry, and I'm really curious. I've always been that way, and you just got to stand up for yourself no matter what, and just believe in your dream no matter what. You probably have people in your family that gave up their dream. And maybe your dream is to be a great guitar player. Well, you can be that.
Yes,
Doesn't matter what other people think. It only matters what you think.
that's right. Wow. Couldn't have said it better. That is exactly true. The difference between good and great players is how far you want to go with it,
Yeah.
and whether you stop somewhere along the way. We talk about quitters, campers, and climbers. Quitters kind of see the road ahead and they go, well, you know, I would love to be that, but I'm not, it costs too much. I don't want to do that. Campers see the road ahead and they try it. They start off and they get about halfway up the mountain and they say, well, you know, the price is getting a little too high. This is good enough for me. Quitters, campers, then you have climbers that keep going one step after another to try and keep going. All right, one more question and then we got to go on to some other announcements and fun stuff. Jerome LMG is asking, Phil, which guitarist most influences you today?
There's not a guitarist that influences me, but if you want a real rush, go on YouTube and go to all the classical violin players and try to learn some of the stuff that they're doing. You'll be really surprised because as a violin player, what's the most important thing? Vibrato. And I'll use it with my hand or my voice. And the reason I listen to violin players is because they sound like a human voice.
Yeah.
And all this incredible music was written 300 and 400 years ago. Where did they come up with that?
All right, we'll let Phil catch his breath here for just a second. One of the things that we had talked about is Phil's project, the Jimi Project, which I've been listening to this in the car for the last few days and refreshing my memory because I had gotten it several months ago. And wow, probably just the most colorful, creative arrangements of Jimi Hendrix tunes that I have ever seen and ever had the pleasure of listening to. Tell us some of the inspiration for this project.
There was a record that came out called Axis Bold as Love. Most people don't know this, but Axis was the name of Jimmy's horse. And he took care of it, liked riding it. And there was a song on the Axis Boulders record, Love record. I'll play a little piece of it. You got me floating around and round, always up, you never let me down. The amazing thing, you turn on naturally. I can kiss you whenever I please. You got me floating round and round. You got me floating, you never let me down. You got me floating naturally. You got me floating, floating, please. I just love that he was such a romantic, and I wanted to feel the way he felt. So his songs really helped. They increased my ardor for life. Yeah. I loved his guitar playing. I loved his voice. But those songs, Jesus. And you don't hear people write like that anymore. And so this is, I never really liked my voice. I always thought I was a cornball singer until someone said, you know, you're a crooner. I thought, yeah, that's probably true. And I love Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra and the great big band singers. Anyone that could sing, I like. Yeah. And I love the guitar playing, but more importantly, I just love the way they constructed songs. So I picked 12 of my favorite Jimi songs, or favorite to me, and I wanted to make them a little different. Yeah. So that's what I try to do.
I would encourage y'all to check it out at Phil's website, philbrownguitar.com. All of your projects are there. We're going to give away this one, but I would encourage you, go on his website, buy the project, download the project, do whatever you do. There's so many great just guitar sounds and guitar lines on this project. That's something I was fascinated by the creativity of it. It wasn't just covers. It was complete redesigns of these great classic songs. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thought it was wonderful.
There's great players on that record. Jimmy Haslip is a bass player from the Yellow Jackets, and Gary Novak is a drummer that played with Chick Corea and Alanis Morissette. Yeah. And when we got together, well, I guess we're going to do a Hendrix record, and usually when you try to do Hendrix, everybody does the same. Here's an example. Well, she's walking through the clouds with a circus mind, oh, that's running wild. Butterflies and zebras, moonbeams and fairy tales, that's all she ever brings to me. Run with the wind, yeah. When I'm sad, she comes to me with 1,000 smiles. All she gives to me free. You see how I'm changing? And I want the voice to lead. Yeah. Most of the time when you're hearing a singer, you hear the guitar leads first and the singer backs up the song. And so much of what's popular, we have a lot of music shows where it's about singers. It's great that it is, but they don't have a band. But when you're a singer in a band and a guitar player, I tried to learn how to play. I think I'm gonna be sad. I think it's today. The girl that's driving me mad is going away. She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. My baby don't care. My baby don't care. All right.
Someone is about to win this project. The winner of this Jimi Project is Ampoids, Ampoids. You have just won this autographed copy. Phil graciously has autographed these. This CD. Wow, congratulations. You need to send us your information at service@stevekrenz.com. Service@stevekrenz.com. Fabian will put up the link. And send us your mailing address and phone number, all that sort of stuff, screen name, and so I can send this out to you. So we're going to give that away. We'll give away a couple more CDs in a little bit. But before we do that, I wanted to talk to you about a couple of resources. One of the things that we are talking about this month, this is kind of Learning Songs Month, and that's why I was excited to have Phil on, because of a lot of the songwriting and so much music that he's been a part of off and on. I came across these great resources. This is the blue button underneath your Ustream window. I believe it's the middle button, and this goes to the sale for this month of these two great songbooks. This is two of them. This is the Guitar Big Book 70s and 80s I think there's 40 some odd songs in here, 25 or 64, Chicago, Bad to the Bone, Behind Blue Eyes, The Who,
and Toto.
yeah, Billy Squier, Masquerade,
Good songs.
Grateful Dead, What a Fool Believes, Doobie Brothers. And what I loved about this is it has the melody. It's got the chords on it if you're just kind of wanting to learn the melody and the lyrics and the chords. But if you wanted to learn the specific guitar part in the original key, it gives you that and the tab to it as well. So these are great resources. This is, you can see these are thick. There's over 500 pages between both of these. In the next book, which is 90s to today, Neon Trees, who was just at the Ryman Auditorium last night. Kelly Clarkson, Katy Perry, Bruno Mars, a lot of Bruno Mars stuff. Some Jewel, CeeLo Green, Forget You. Dixie Chicks, Evanescence, Papa Roach. Got all kinds of great things in here, a lot of Jewel, as well as Jimmy Buffett. Some of these great songs. If you're interested in learning just classic songs, that's part of learning guitar. You can get the skills, you can get the chords and the notes and the pentatonic scales and all that sort of stuff, but that's not going to help you when you're sitting around and somebody says, "Hey, can you play us something?" You got to know a song. So things like this help. And these, what I loved about these is it's got the guitar part, the original guitar parts, all tabbed out. So if you're interested in these resources, we got a great sale going on them. Check out, that's the blue button underneath your Ustream window. And if you're interested in them and it's something you want to do, then check them out. Those are our resources for that. And we also have another resource I'll tell you about in just a little bit, which is fantastic. Let's give away one more thing. I wanted to give away Asterope and Asterope Cable. Mm-hmm. How long have you been working with Asterope?
A couple of years, probably 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah. We have been, this is a great company, Asterope.com, in fact, whose president is here, actually here with us tonight. We were here 3 or 4 weeks ago with Al Perkins, and Al was talking about how great Asterope cables were. And this is one of they graciously have given us one to give away. This is a 10-foot Pro Studio cable, straight ends for both of these. What's great about Asterope cables, they have the clarity, they let completely your sound through, and
you plug them in a certain way.
They're unidirectional, I believe, so there's a certain way that you plug it in, and that helps the sound.
Yeah.
Fantastic cables. Check them out. They have all kinds of different resources, Asterope.com. Someone is about to win this. You ready? The winner of this is Grumpa Steve. Grumpa Steve, you have just won a fantastic Asterope 10-foot guitar cable. Send us your information, service@stevekrenz.com, mailing address, all that sort of stuff, so we can get in contact with you. And wow, fantastic cable. Fantastic cable. Can you play us something? What else are you going to play for us? You've already done a whole history of rock and roll we've gone through.
Let's see what we got here. How about let me play you something from the Jimi Project. How about that?
Great. Beautiful.
Let me find it. Oh, here it is here. I'll play you a little bit of Manic Depression. And normally when you hear Manic Depression, I need to tell you a true story. One day, drummer's name, Jimi Hendrix band, Mitch Mitchell, is being interviewed by a drum magazine, and they wanted to present him an award for being the most expressive fusion drummer in rock. And he goes, "And what song are you attributing that to?" And he said, "Manic Depression." And he took a sip from his glass and smoked a cigarette, and he goes, "I didn't play on that, it was Jimi." So when you listen to that Hendrix record, you're going to hear some fantastic drumming, but on that particular song, that was Jimi.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm going to play a version I have of this, and it's a little different. Let me see what we got. Everybody groove. depression to searching my soul. Oh, I know what I want, but I just don't know how to go about getting it. Music, sweet music, just drops from my fingers. Manic depression. I'm gonna tune, I don't care. Yeah, yeah. Woman so willing to sweet cause in vain, and you make love and you make love, but it's all the same. Music, sweet music, I wish drops from my fingers. Manic depression so captured my soul. Yeah, yeah. It's a manic depression. Well, I don't think I'll take myself down. Go on. Really ain't no use in me hanging around. Music, sweet music, just drops from my fingers. Manic depression, so frustrating mess. Here we go now. Oh, it's a manic depression kind of thing. Oh, it's a manic depression. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a manic. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Fantastic. All right, man, it is already 7:50. Let me get one more question or two, and then we will go on to some other stuff.
Stop this. Sorry.
Six-string shooter is asking, were you ever taught as a singer, formally taught?
I did take some lessons. I studied with an opera teacher, Ron Alexander, in Los Angeles. And he made me aware that your voice is an instrument, and that I should not be ashamed, because I was just, I couldn't sing like a heavy metal guy.
Yeah.
It sounded like a car starting. I wanted it for some reason. But that's not the way it is. The real songs are sung by real singers, and they tend to last.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was naturally, everyone has a natural talent, but you ought to go get some
training. Yeah.
It won't hurt you. It'll make you feel better.
You have such a wonderful character to your voice. Let's talk about one more thing. The overdrive that Phil is using is this Lead Boots pedal by Rocket Pedals. When I was, I'll try and get up here where you can kind of see, as I was kind of thinking and preparing for Phil's lesson, I remembered our good friend Chris over at Rocket Pedals, and that you had done a signature pedal for them. And so I called Chris and said, is it possible for us to offer this pedal, Phil's signature pedal? So, which you already talked about it a little bit. It's got the clean side of it, and then it has all the variations, just a ton of variations of overdrive that you can get with the pedal.
This is the most expressive pedal, and I have probably 30 or 40 distortion boxes. But we worked over a year on developing this. They would send me a prototype, I'd play it. And I'm always looking for an ambient overtone when I play guitar, even if it's clean. And this pedal has a boost section and an overdrive. And boost would be like listening to, for lack of a better word, Jeff Beck playing Wired. It's not completely distorted. You still have the sound of the guitar, and you can dial it in. Has tones, these two tones here. And for the overdrive, you have volume, of course, then a saturation, how much distortion, and tones here. And
just a very expressive pedal. I mean, most of the distortion, most of the distortion you're using right now that we've heard tonight has been through that pedal.
just that pedal.
Just this pedal. So I talked to Chris, and I said, can we offer this pedal? So we're going to give one away. One of you lucky folks is going to actually win one of these pedals. But I said, send me 10 of them. And Phil has graciously said that he would personally autograph them. So there is a button underneath your Ustream window, kind of a blackish button, that will go to this sale. These normally sell for, I think, $259. We've got them for less than anywhere I saw them on the internet, and you're going to autograph them. So it's a crazy deal. We only have 10 of them. So if you're interested in getting this amazing pedal, we worked it out. We're only going to have this up for about 7 days, 6-7 days. Once we run out, we're out. So if you're interested, check out. You can buy one of these pedals, and Phil is going to autograph it, and you can get that at that link underneath there. But someone is going to win this pedal in a few minutes, in just a couple minutes. We have some closing announcements that I wanted to get to as well. Our next live lesson, Phil's going to do one more song before we wrap up here. Our next live lesson after this is going to be next week, May 20th. And we also put some lessons over in our Gibson Skills House. Over on Gibson.com, we do skill-based lessons. And so we've got probably over 100 different lessons over there. Different ones of them are featured each week. The ones that are featured this week are finger flexibility exercises, getting your fingers flexible enough to do the work that they need to do. We have a bluegrass lesson on wildwood flower. We kind of cover all kinds of different things. I've got one of our 10-minute power workouts on major scales. If you're trying to learn your scales to where your fingers have these patterns that they need to be able to run down through, that's a good place to start. And then we have an artist interview with Ron Block, our good friend Ron Block from Alison Krauss's band. They're guitarist for that and multi-instrumentalist for that. Then one of the other instructors is doing featured song for this week, which is Hey Ya by Outkast. So if you're interested in learning that song, please check that out as well. Jerome LMG is asking, Phil, are you more nervous doing live lessons or on stage playing live in front of people, or is it the same?
I'm not nervous.
What is to be nervous about?
When you love doing what you're doing,
Yes.
you don't get nervous. There might be a little...
Have you wrestled with that, with being up on stage? I know some folks really wrestle with that, being nervous on stage. And
One day a girl says to me, girlfriend, she goes, do you ever think about sex when you're up there? I said, God, no, I'm hoping I'm in tune. I can remember the lyrics, the band sounds great. It's the last thing we think of, but we use music as a great attractor. So nervous doesn't really work.
Yeah. I know a lot of folks wrestle with that. Country Blues is asking, which great blues players have you had the opportunity to work with? Have you ever had an opportunity to work with some of these
I never
great
got
guys?
to work with any great blues guys. I just listened. I was a guy, I was always working. So I didn't have a chance. I did go see James Brown a bunch of times. I did see Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf. I didn't get to play with them. Sure wanted to. But that was a different time. I was a young little whippersnapper. I didn't have a clue. Takes years to learn how to do this. A lot of years.
But worth it.
Yeah.
But worth it. Keep trying to learn. Keep trying to get that music. I was thinking just this morning, so many people want to be musicians. So many people would love to be able to play and have some of the experiences that musicians have. And they would give a year's salary to be able to play and have your skill for one day. You don't realize it, the specialness of what we do. Keep trying to work at your music. It's worth trying to get the music that's inside of you out. Get enough skills to where that music that's inside of you to get out. Want to thank Groon Guitars for letting us be here in this amazing place. If you're ever in Nashville, check it out. This is a great place to come and be a part of and get to see all the amazing instruments that are around here. And let me know. Hey, we'll go out to lunch. We have lunch quite often, Greg and I, with Legacy Learning Systems folks, Learner Master Guitar folks that come through town. So let me know. Happy to do that.
Well, one other thing I want to mention. I didn't mention this. Strings.
Oh.
Real important.
Yeah.
I use this brand called Kurt Magnan strings. It's high-grade steel, and they're hand-wound.
What sizes?
These are 10 to 46s, but I have others that I use for tuning guitars. And I've used this brand for, the last 4 years.
I've heard good things about them.
Great. They sort of remind me of, there was a company called Pyramid out of Germany that made strings for the Beatles. Real high-grade steel. And you can't miss. Strings are real important to your arsenal of music.
Yeah. Kurt Mangan.
M-A-N-G-A-N.
K-U-R-T, M-A-N.
No, C-U-R-T.
You think it's C-U-R-T?
Yeah.
C-U-R-T. Fabian, if you can find that link, and Fabian, I'm sure you can. You find every link. Find that up. Let's give away a couple more CDs. This is Phil's project, Cruel Inventions. You want to tell us anything about this?
Girls love this. I sell a lot of these to girls.
All right, the winner of this project, Cruel Inventions, is Chitara 777. Congratulations on winning this great CD. Chitara, send us your information at service@stevekrenz.com, mailing address, things like that. Garrett, I'm going to need one more name up there. Then we have another project. Imagine this. When was this done?
My latest record.
Yeah, this is the latest
I finished it 2 years ago, and people like it. They play it on a lot of...
Was that recorded here in Nashville or in Los Angeles? I'm seeing Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, Germany, Austin, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Colorado. Went all over the world. Had some great players on there.
Fantastic. The winner of this CD is Diane 1153. Diane 1153, you have just won this. Send us your information at service@stevekrenz.com, and we will get that out to you. Thank you so much, Phil, for giving us all this stuff
You're welcome.
to give away. That is a joy. All right. Hey, someone is going to win this pedal, the Lead Boots pedal by Rocket Pedals. Check out our good friends at Rocket Pedals, Rocketts, Rocket Pedals, and check, they got tons of great pedals over there. They got this pedal. Guthrie Trap has a signature pedal over there as well. Someone is about to win this one. The winner of this pedal, wow, this is exciting. The winner of this pedal is Fused Finger. Fused Finger. You have just won one heck of a overdrive pedal. Send us your information, service@stevekrenz.com, and we will get this out to you, and we'll have Phil autograph this as well. And if you're interested in getting one of those pedals, don't wait. Check out the link that we have underneath the video, and we can get you out one. But I only have a few of them that are coming in, so those will go out to first come, first serve. And once we're out on those.
Great.
Cool.
Let's play something.
All right.
Want to?
We are going to play. What are we going to play?
Well, you remember Crossroads by Robert Johnson? Used to go like, remember it? 3, 4. I don't do it that way. I do it this way. I went down to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. I went down to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. Some pretty Missy, take me, if you please. Well, I'm going down to Rosedale, take my rider by my side. I'm going down to Rosedale, baby, take my rider by my side. We can still buy a house, baby, down, down, down by the riverside. B flat again. Yeah. E flat. You want to take a short one? Not yet. Now. Here we go. You can run, you can run. Tell my friend Willie Brown all around. You can run. Tell my friend Willie Brown all around, all around. I'm standing at the crossroads. I believe I'm sinking all the way down. Oh, yeah. Take it off. Now I'm in here, ready? You're That's it. You can cut us off.
Wow. Thank you so much, Phil. Thanks for being part of this.
Thank you, Steve.
Great night. Thank you all for being part of this. Keep up with the good work on learning your music. It's a fabulous thing. We will see you guys next time.
Vaya con Dios.